Hi, on today's video I'm going to explain how you can manipulate surfaces in order to use them, whether to force, whether to restrict mining. In my case, I'm going to use the McLaughlin deposit. This is, in fact, the results of a direct block scheduling of the McLaughlin deposit, which is a real deposit of about 2.8 million blocks, I guess. So, in short, I'm going to prepare a surface to restrict mining into this deposit because I need to reduce its processing time of about 1 hour to something more reasonable. Of course, this processing time is very reasonable, and also, of course, the processing time depends on or is related to the amount of blocks, but it also depends on the parameters you're using, okay? But I want to reduce this processing time because I'd like to include this data set into our automated routine of tests to help our development team, okay? But of course, you can use surfaces to restrict mining if you don't have the rights to mine a certain area, or if you want to preserve a specified region of your deposit, and possibilities are up to you. And here I'm going to restrict area, and I'm going to record this procedure to make it easier for you who don't have an idea how to do this procedure. In fact, I've already made a lot of mistakes by doing this step-by-step procedure. And I want you have more easiness to manipulate the surfaces, and I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay, let me show. This is a restricted surface I've used into another scenario, and notice that this region is above my deposit, and this one is below. Okay, very good. Very easy to understand, right? This region is supposed to restrict the mining into this volume of my deposit until a specified period of time, and this one will be available to be mined during the same time, okay? And on SimSched interface you can understand it more. Let me open it. This is a restricted scenario of the McLaughlin deposit, and here I'm using this surface I've just showed you into this line, into this row. And as you can see, here's my restricted mining surface, and it will restrict during the first 5 years, okay? So you have to consider this period over here to know how many time it will restrict mining over this region. Of course, you can, if you intend to preserve a nature reserve, you will put probably the surface over here, and will restrict mining over there during the entire mine of the project, okay? So we can now move it on. Okay, very good. Here I'm inside the folder in which I have some results, some reports, and here I have a topography surface file, and also the surfaces that or the surface generated according to each period, okay? So it goes from period 1 until period 18. And I'm going to open the topography surface, and by pressing Windows key left, I put this window on the left side of my screen. And I'm going to arbitrarily choose the surface 12. Okay. Now I'm going to copy these values into my topography surface file. I'm going to close it. Okay, very good. Why did I do it? I always like to make this process to ensure that each of these two columns, x and y coordinates, are matching each other, so there's no lack of a certain point. And I'm going to verify certain parts of my data set. Okay, so it seems everything is okay, and each value is matching the other the values from the surface file. Okay, now I can delete these columns over here, and I'm going to rename the first Z to topography just to make things clearer, and the second one to surface 12. This is the procedure I do it, but you can, it's up to you. You can do it the way you'll prefer. Okay, now I'm going to press F12, which is a shortcut of Excel, to save as, and I'm going to save it as surface restrict. I'd like to save it as an Excel workbook, so that if I make some mistake, I will be able to repair my errors without having to start from the beginning. Okay, so this is a step just to ensure things will be okay and that it will be repairable. So okay, very good. Later I will need to save it as a CSV file again to import it on SimSched and also to SGEMS. Okay, now I'm going to take the difference between topography and surface 12. Oh, sorry. Let's first generate a chart that show the points of our deposit. I'm pressing the first cell into the X column, Shift, right, Control, and down. So I've just selected all these values from these two columns. Okay, and by pressing F11, it's another shortcut. I'm generating a graph in another tab. Okay, and now I'm going to change the chart type to X and Y scatter. These two charts seems to be the same, but I'm not sure about that, and I always select this one. Okay, I don't know why, but I always select it. Let's wait for it. Excel is not responding, and I'm going to pause the video just for a while I repair some things. Okay, here we go again. I don't know why did it happen, but well, after selecting our X and Y coordinates and generating a chart, this is the result. This area, all this area, is the area of our deposit or the model. Okay, in fact, it's the model, not just the deposit. And now we can take the difference between topography and surface, which means the difference between these two values is the thickness of the layer of material that has been extracted. My computer seems to be slow, probably because I'm recording. Let me, by pressing 2 times over this square, we copy the formula to the entire data set. Okay, let me just pause the video again to ensure that everything's okay. Okay, getting back to the point. Now I'm going to filter the column thickness so that you will notice let's remove the 0 values and go to the chart tab. We have our deposit. Okay, so this is what this is the region that it has been extracted from the period 1 until the period 12, or in between these two periods. Okay, and now, as I'd like to restrict my model, I'm going to simplify it. I'm going to select just points that are greater than, larger than 50 meters. So this is the region that has more than 50 meters. Okay. So now I'm able to create a Z column again. I'm going to clear up my filters. Well, okay, very good. And now I'm going to copy my topography values into my Z column. Okay, great. So why did I do it? Well, by doing it, I'm putting all my points over my deposit, and all I have to move down those points of the region I'd like to be able to mine. So in this case, I've put this square below my deposit, so this region will be available to be mined during the specified period of time I've showed you, which was period 5. Now, so okay, very good. All my points are over my deposit, and I'm going to make a restriction greater than 50 meters. Okay, very good. I'm going to remove this area because it's a thin area, and I believe it couldn't be operational, so I'm going to remove it. Of course, these regions are not in scale, so probably it's a bit larger. Okay, very good. Let me see. 500 meters. So now I'm going to, let's put 512, a little bit more. We need to increase this value a little bit more. Okay, there's just 3 points here. Of course, I need just to make things prettier. Okay, very good. Now I have the region I want to be able to mine. Okay, so for these values, I'm going to set a 0 value into the Z column for all those values. Okay, and now I'm going to remove the filter, and I'm going to be able to verify that we have some values that match the topography and some values are 0. Okay, now I can save this file, which is an Excel workbook, and finally I'm going to remove these undesired columns and this short. Okay, very good. And now finally I'm going to press F12 again to save it as a CSV file, comma delimited, which is the file we need to import whether on SGEMS, whether on SimSched. Okay, yes, I want to save it, and now we're going to Let's remove it. Let's see if our surface is okay. We can just bring the file onto the screen and select point set. Okay, of course you have other option. You can click on objects, load object, and select the surface you've just prepared, which is here, and then point set, next, and set a point set name and finish. So here we have our point set, and here we have this region that is in which the deposit is below the surface will be restricted until the specified period of time, and the other region will be available to be mined during this same period of time. So that's all. I hope it has made things clearer for you, and have a great job. Bye bye.